The roar of the engine, the smell of dirt and rubber. The anticipation builds as you slip your gloves on, tighten your helmet, and line up at the starting gate. After a year of silence, the Monster Energy Supercross series makes its return, this time with the rebooted Supercross 25. But is it everything fans have been waiting for, or does it fall flat? For months, we've heard the promises. A game that will elevate the Supercross experience, a title that finally pushes the limits. But as the dust settles and the first laps are completed, we're left with a lingering question. Was this the breakthrough we've all been waiting for, or does it miss the mark? It's more than just another racing game. It's a battle of expectation versus reality. Imagine being in the thick of a race, your hands gripping the controller, your heart pounding as you lean into every turn, praying that you don't lose control. The bike beneath you is a reflection of your own thoughts, raw, unpredictable, and in desperate need of precision. But what happens when the bike betrays you, when your grip slips, and the ground looms closer than you ever expected? That's the feeling Supercross 25 delivers, raw and unforgiving. Yet, beneath the intensity of the tracks and the allure of new features lies a deeper truth. This is a game that forces you to confront not just the physics of the sport, but your own limitations. The control is elusive, the expectations are high, and as you race towards the finish line, there's a nagging feeling that maybe, just maybe, this title doesn't fully deliver on the promise of perfection. Is Supercross 25 the definitive edition, or is it another pit stop in a series that refuses to break free from its past? Stay with me, and let's explore the truth behind the throttle, the tracks, and the twisted grip of Supercross 25. The controls, a fine balance between arcade and simulation. The moment you start your engine in Monster Energy Supercross 25 AF, one thing is abundantly clear. This isn't your typical arcade racer. The feeling of control is immediate, as if you're not just playing a game, but entering a high-stakes battle with gravity itself. The first thing you'll notice is the bike. It's not a toy. It's not Mario Kart, where you can smash into corners without consequence. No, here, every move matters. Every tilt of the bike feels deliberate. One wrong move, and you're face first in the dirt. This game operates in the space between arcade thrill and simulation precision. It challenges you to master the delicate art of controlling a dirt bike, forcing you to balance the line between speed and stability. The first few laps will test your reflexes, but soon you'll realize that it's not just about racing, it's about feeling the race. Each turn, each bump in the track sends a rush of adrenaline through you, as if you can almost feel the weight of the bike shifting beneath you. The dual-stick control system is where Supercross 25 bike sets itself apart. The left stick controls the bike steering, leaning you into corners and guiding you through the chaos. But it's the right stick that adds an extra layer of depth, the rider's weight. It's almost as if you're controlling the rider's body in real time, shifting their weight to balance the bike's precarious tilt. Need to lean hard into a tight corner? Shift your rider's weight to the inside. Want to straighten out? For a jump? Pull back and make sure the bike's geometry is just right. The precision feels rewarding, but mastering it? That's the real challenge. The rumble of the DualSense controller gives each moment weight. As you hit the track, the vibrations pulse with intensity. When you land hard after a jump or hit a rough patch of terrain, the feedback lets you feel it. It's not just sensory overload, it's immersion at its finest. The sensation of the track beneath you isn't just something you see, it's something you feel in the palms of your hands. Each twist and turn, each jolt of the bike is amplified with haptic feedback, making the experience visceral in ways that a traditional controller just can't replicate. But then, there's the terrain. At first, you might think the ruts and bumps in the track are just a gimmick, another buzzword to sell the game. But no. As you race, you'll quickly realize that the track is alive, constantly changing with every lap. Ruts form in the dirt, carving deep into the path as other riders pass through. And those bumps, they become more pronounced, more challenging as the race goes on. Suddenly, those minor imperfections aren't just obstacles. They're forces you have to fight against. You find yourself adjusting, compensating, recalibrating your bike's path as the track deforms beneath you. One wrong line, and you're off track, trying desperately to get back on course. It's a dynamic shift in the gameplay that keeps you on edge, forcing you to pay attention to the smallest details of the terrain, lest you lose your grip. It's not just about getting to the finish line, it's about controlling the ride. In Supercross 25 Rocks, each race feels like a struggle against the elements, your bike, and your own instincts. And just when you think you've got it figured out, the track shifts, the ruts deepen, and the challenge continues. It's the kind of experience that makes you want to dive back in, pushing yourself to become better, faster, more in control. In this delicate balance of arcade-style fun and simulation realism, Monster Energy Supercross 25i doesn't just give you a game, it gives you a challenge. And that challenge, it keeps you coming back for more. The struggles, awkward physics, and unintuitive controls. For all its promises of realism, Monster Energy Supercross 25 feet stumbles when it comes to one of the most crucial aspects of racing, cornering. Picture this. You're flying down the track at 45 mph, approaching a tight corner. You grip the controller, anticipating that perfect, smooth turn. But instead of feeling that sweet, controlled slide into the bend, you're met with an understeering nightmare. Your bike refuses to turn the way you want, and before you know it, you're overcompensating, fighting the bike as it snaps into an oversteer. It's a constant, unpredictable back-and-forth battle between trying to turn and struggling to correct the path. For a game that markets itself as a fine balance of arcade and simulation, the cornering mechanics just don't feel intuitive. The bike's response doesn't align with what you'd expect from an expert-level simulation. The constant need to steer left, only to jerk the controls right to correct an oversteering slide, becomes more of a chore than a rewarding experience. And let's be honest, when you're fighting the controls more than enjoying the ride, the magic of racing starts to fade fast. For seasoned players, this is more of an annoyance. But for newcomers to the Supercross series, it could be downright infuriating. The difficulty curve becomes frustrating rather than challenging, leaving players wondering if there's something wrong with their input or the game itself. That's not the kind of frustration anyone wants in a racing game. You want to feel like you're improving, but when you're constantly battling awkward physics instead of enjoying the flow, it's hard to see the progress. And speaking of flow, Supercross 25 fails to capture it. When you're playing a game that's meant to make you feel like a racing pro, the control system should enhance that feeling, not detract from it. Sadly, it doesn't. Even with the impressive Unreal Engine 5 powering the game, the animation of the rider feels stiff and lifeless. Imagine a mannequin trying to ride a bike, rigid, awkward, and lacking the fluidity that you would expect from a game of this caliber. The rider's movements don't sync with the dynamic control of the bike, making every jump and lean feel more like you're playing with an action figure than living out the adrenaline-pumping thrill of dirt bike racing. That lack of fluidity detracts from the visual experience, leaving you questioning where all the promises of smooth animation and realism went. Shouldn't this be the moment where you feel in the zone, riding like a pro, body flowing with the bike? Instead, it feels like you're holding the throttle down while trying to make a mannequin move. What could have been an exhilarating racing experience becomes an awkward, stuttering mess of control struggles. There's no seamless, natural progression between bike and rider. No flow between the two that pulls you in and makes you feel like you're part of the race. Instead, you're stuck wrestling with mechanics that just don't feel right, leaving you questioning if the game is working with you or against you. In the end, the struggle for control is real. While the game offers moments of potential, the frustrating physics and lackluster animations fail to deliver on the thrilling, fast-paced racing experience we all crave. And that's where Supercross 25 Pre-Boss falls short. The promise of flow and seamless control, replaced by awkwardness and frustration. A glimpse of what could have been, graphics, tracks, and customization. Despite the gameplay struggles, Monster Energy Supercross 25 does have its moments. moments that hint at what could have been a truly groundbreaking game. The graphics are one of the standout features, especially when you consider that this is the first game in the series powered by Unreal Engine 5. You can see the difference in the level of detail. The rain puddles that form on the tracks, reflecting, the action and adding a layer of realism feel almost tangible. The dirt beneath your tires changes as you ride, with ruts and bumps forming in real time, making every lap feel different. It's a visual feast that draws you in, immersing you in the dirt, sweat, and determination of Supercross racing. The tracks themselves are another area where the game shines. There are 17 new tracks to race on, each offering its own set of challenges. For outdoor racing fans, the addition of the ability to customize weather conditions on outdoor tracks is a welcome feature. Imagine racing through a muddy, rain-soaked track, fighting not just the turns, but the slick, unpredictable terrain beneath you. It's a level of immersion that could have elevated the experience, adding a unique layer of strategy to each race. The changing conditions could have made each race feel like a fresh challenge, if only the gameplay mechanics were as polished as the visuals. However, here's where Supercross 25T starts to lose steam. While the graphics and tracks impress, the riders and bikes feel almost lifeless. With 65 riders to choose from, there's a noticeable lack of variety in how they control. Each rider feels almost identical in handling, with the only differences being in the sound and basic stats. This lack of differentiation between riders and bikes removes some of the excitement that comes from trying out new bikes or mastering different riders. What could have been a thrilling exploration of personal style and strategy instead feels like a shallow experience. The visual potential is there, the track variety is solid, and the idea of weather customization is exciting. But the lack of depth in rider and bike variety leaves you wondering how much more immersive Supercross 25 could have been with just a little more attention to detail. The career mode, recycled and predictable. Unfortunately, Supercross 25 falters in one of the most critical areas, career mode. If you've played any sports game in the past decade, you've likely seen this formula a million times before. You start at the bottom with no reputation, no fan base, and a long road ahead. The goal? Place in the top 15, and just like clockwork, you're bumped up to the rookie category, where you'll choose between the 250 East or West divisions. It's the same tired progression we've seen in countless other games, a predictable cycle that leaves little room for surprises or innovation. While the core concept of career mode could have been thrilling, it ends up feeling like a grind. You win races, you move up, rinse, and repeat. The excitement fades as the game struggles to provide anything fresh or unique to keep you invested. The added social media element, meant to enhance the experience, only adds to the repetition. You're bombarded with messages from other riders and media outlets, each interaction feeling more like filler than a meaningful part of the story. Rather than engaging you in the narrative, these messages quickly become a nuisance, contributing nothing substantial to the gameplay. Then there's the team synergy feature, which on paper sounds like it could add a new layer of strategy. Synergy boosts your bike's stats, allowing you to improve your speed, acceleration, and handling. But here's the catch. It's a feature we've seen in countless sports games before. It doesn't feel innovative or fresh, it's just another recycled mechanic that doesn't bring anything new to the table. What could have been an opportunity to create a truly unique team-building experience ends up as another checkbox to tick off in the career progression. What's frustrating is that this mode had so much potential. Imagine a career mode where your decisions truly impacted the story, where rivalries felt personal, where social media interactions added depth to your character's journey. Instead, what we get is a cookie-cutter experience, leaving you wondering if the developers just couldn't be bothered to shake things up. The missed opportunities here are glaring, and as you race through the predictable career path, you can't help but feel like you're stuck on a never-ending loop, one that doesn't offer any new thrills. The verdict. Is Monster Energy Supercross 25 worth the investment? So, is Monster Energy Supercross 25 Oz worth your $59.99? The answer isn't as clear-cut as we'd like it to be. On one hand, the game has its undeniable strengths. For die-hard Supercross fans, there is something here that could be worth the investment. The realism brought by the terrain deformation, the variety of tracks, and the ability to customize weather conditions for outdoor courses create an immersive racing experience that, for some, could be the highlight of the game. These features breathe life into the tracks, making each race feel unique, and there's a certain satisfaction in mastering the changing conditions that could keep you coming back for more. However, for those new to the Supercross series or looking for a fresh take on the franchise, Supercross 25 Stock Crew might not be the game to change your mind. The awkward control mechanics and frustrating cornering physics can leave a bad taste in your mouth, especially if you were expecting a smooth and intuitive experience. The stiff animations, despite the power of Unreal Engine 5, further drag the game down, leaving you feeling disconnected from the action rather than immersed in it. Ultimately, the game's flaws are hard to ignore. While the visuals and some of the features show promise, they're not enough to mask the deeper issues with the gameplay. The repetitive career mode, the recycled mechanics, and the awkward handling make it clear that this is a game that falls short of its potential. It could have been the breakthrough we were all hoping for, a definitive Supercross experience that truly elevated the series. But instead, it leaves us wondering if the developers simply ran out of time or ideas. Could Supercross 25 have been the game that took the series to new heights? Or does it just leave us wishing for something more, something better? It's a tough call. One thing is for sure, though. This isn't the definitive Supercross game we've been waiting for. It's a fun ride for those already invested in the series, but for anyone else, you might want to hold off, at least until the next big update. What do you think? Is Monster Energy Supercross 25 buys a must-play, or is it just another letdown in the series? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let's get the conversation started. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more content on all things gaming. Share this video with your friends. Let's keep the discussion going and help others decide whether Supercross 25 Baus is worth the ride. See you in the next video!